Hey, you guys. Welcome to Talk About It Thursdays. And I am your host, Karen Bailey. Let me know when you're on, and I would love to say hello to you. Well, you guys, it's the week before Easter. Not really sure why Easter changes every year, but it does. Hey, Kim, I see you up there. And I think I see Roger. Nope, that's Johnny. Hey, Johnny, how you doing? Hey, I'm sorry I'm missing you guys with a dance group, but I got so much going on, Johnny. But I'm coming back. I'm coming back because I really enjoy spending time with you guys. Hey, sis. Happy almost Easter, everybody. Not sure what your plans are, but whatever you do, I pray that you keep God first. And just remember, without Him, honey, we don't have anything. Without Him, we're nothing. So let's remember the reason for the season, no matter what they put on TV, what they're selling and all the sales and blah, blah, blah. Just remember the reason for the season. You guys, last week we talked about not by sight. I pray you guys got something out of that. That is one of those things that you have to always consciously remind yourself that we got to live by faith. Because what we see, most of that stuff is not even real. Most of that stuff is all about getting attention. Most of that stuff is just about getting a rise out of us and getting us all worked up and getting us all upset. So that's why we have to walk by faith. That's why we have to trust in the God who created us. You know, there's nothing that's new under the sun and nothing is a surprise to Him. So we just have to remember He is in control, you know, no matter what's going on. And we just got to walk and we got to be grateful and we just got to take it a day at a time. So guys, this week I wanted to talk about something that we all understand is pressure. Pressure. You don't get out of this life. I don't care how spoiled you are. I don't care how much money you've got. I don't care how much stuff is set before you. You're going to have some pressure in your life at some point. And my goal today is to help you not crack under the pressure. Because it's easy to do. It's easy to do. So don't crack under pressure, sis. That's what I want to talk about today. And like I say, pressure is something we're all going to experience in life. But how you handle the pressure, that's what I'm talking about. How you handle the pressure makes all the difference in the world. That makes or breaks you as to how you handle the pressure. Because you can either handle the pressure or the pressure can handle you. And if you don't take control of the situations in your life that are trying to take over your life, that keep you upset, keep you worried, keep you from enjoying life and doing those things, you know, to make those good memories, you're letting the pressure control you. So we're going to flip the script today. Because I want to see us in control of our own life. I want us understanding that, you know what, this too shall pass, whatever this is. We're not going to worry about it. Trouble don't last always. Hey, Shakita, trouble don't last always. And so you got to remember that. We go from glory to glory. You know, God has gotten all of us through so much stuff. All you got to do is sit back and just remember some of the stuff. And some of the times when you just thought you wouldn't make it, but God brought you through. That'll give you the strength that you need to keep pushing forward. And that expression that they use about too much pressure will bust a pipe, that works in material things and also in your life and in people. Because if you put too much pressure on somebody or you live under too much pressure, you're going to break. You're going to break. And sometimes people break and they never come back, you guys. That's what I don't want to see happen to us. So we got to recognize when we're at our breaking point and not allow it to keep happening to the point where we're broken. You know, most of us have gone through some painful situations in our lives, you guys. And I can honestly tell you, I've been broken many times. But when I decided I got tired of being broken all the time. When I got tired of people putting their thumb on my neck all the time, trying to tell me what to do, trying to pressure me to do this, pressure me to do that. And then when you need them, they're never there for you. So you have to make up your mind that this is your life. You only have one life, and you have to be in control of what goes on. Don't let anybody pressure you into running your life the way they want you to run it. This is your life. This is your ship. You got to steer it. And we have a choice in how we allow pressure to affect our lives. So what's pressure? There's different types of pressure. Pressure is continuous physical force exerted against an object by somebody in contact with it. That's one kind of pressure. The second pressure is the use of persuasion and influence and intimidation to make you do something. That's when somebody's trying to manipulate you. That's when somebody is trying to pull the strings and make you their puppet. So you got to know people's motives when they're around you. You got to know that everybody that's around you is not for you. And I'm one of those people, I give everybody the benefit of the doubt. But as I'm getting older, I watch people. Even when you're smiling up in my face, baby, you best believe I got my corner eye looking at you when you over there whispering, when you over there, laughing at somebody else or gossiping about somebody else. I'm watching you. You may not be doing it to me, but one thing I know about a person that'll backstab somebody else, it ain't going to be that hard for them to backstab you. So you need to pay attention to the people in your circle. So some people are just there to manipulate you. You're right, Johnny. Your breaking point. Yes. And sometimes it does become your blessing, because sometimes you have to get so low. You have to get so low that only God can bring you back up. And when God picks you back up, you'll never be the same. You won't be broken by the same thing over and over again. When you are truly broken and God puts you back together again, He puts you back together better. Thank you, Johnny, for that. And there are different ways that people try to manipulate you into doing what they want you to do and put that pressure on you. One thing is harassment. Harassment is when somebody's continuously and just being, aggressive about putting that pressure on you, trying to intimidate you, trying to, just bombard you, and sometimes they go too far with it, sometimes to the point where it's illegal. But what they're trying to do is wear you down till you'll do what they want you to do. But you have to be smarter than that. You have to recognize that everybody is not for you, and everybody doesn't want what's best for you. So you have to learn how to handle those kind of people, and you have to learn how to be firm and put your foot down. People who harass you, they do things that annoy you or trouble your spirit, and they totally disrespect what you want. You can tell them over and over again, that bothers me when you do that, or please don't do this, please don't do that. A person that is trying to force their way, hey, Latoya, or trying to get you to do what they want you to do, they don't really care. They don't really respect what you want. It's all about putting that pressure. When I used to play basketball, long time ago, y'all, it was about putting that pressure. When they were coming down with the ball, you put that pressure on and you get up in their face. You make them nervous. You make them make a mistake. Sometimes that's what people do. They pressure you because they want you to mess up. They want you to make a mistake. And then there are social pressures, which is the combined pressure that, you're around every day, like peer pressure, academic pressure, socioeconomic pressure. All of these things come from you having a desire to fit in with everybody else. You want to feel like you're as good as everybody else. So this lady got her degree. So that person got a promotion. Be happy for them. You don't have to compete with them. That pressure doesn't have to be on you to try to be better than them. That's a form of jealousy. That's a form of just wanting what they have. You got to learn how to be happy for somebody else. You got to learn how to cheer for other people and wait your turn. Just because that may be the path they had to go on, that God sent them that way, that may not be for you. So you need to learn how to applaud and truly be happy for other people when they're going higher in life. And then get your own self together. Focus on you and what you need to do with your life to take you to the next level. And that way you don't have to feel that social pressure. When you're trying to compete with the Joneses. I learned a long time ago, I don't care what you drive. I don't care what you live in. I'm happy for everybody that's got their own. My thing is, I'm not finna go in debt. I'm not finna sit here and eat ramen noodles trying to outdo you because I've overextended myself. That's that social economic pressure that we put on ourselves. Nobody's making us feel that way. We feel inadequate. So therefore, we put all that pressure on ourselves to have what they have, drive what they drive, buy what they buy, go where they go. Why is it you want to be something that you're not? I don't want to be anybody but Karen, who God created me to be. I beat to my own drum. Anybody that know me, they know I don't copy nobody. I'm happy for everybody, but that may not be for me, and I'm good with that. I'm happy for you. But we got to stop putting that pressure on ourselves. If you're around people that require you to have what they have, do what they do, act like they act, those people really don't care about you because they don't know what it may take for you to try to get up on their level. And they don't really care. So if they can't accept you for where you are, if they don't understand that you may not be able to go and do some of the things they are able to do because they're financially better off, you might need to change your circle, boo. Change your circle of people because those people are just show-offs. Those people are ego tripping. You don't need those kind of people in your life. We all need to learn to accept one another for where we are. And if we can help that other person go up a little bit further, then we help them. But we don't look down on them just because they don't have what we have. Because we didn't always have. One thing I taught my kids, I said, we don't have a lot, but your mama works hard. I said, so don't you ever let me find out you talking about anybody that's less fortunate than you. I'm the one out here working 2 jobs. I'm the one making the sacrifices. You don't have the right to look down on anybody else. So you stay humble. You keep your mind right because it wouldn't take nothing but missing a paycheck for you to be in the same spot and same position as that person that you're talking about. So we need to take some of that pressure off of ourselves to try to compete with everybody. Just be happy for people. And then there's that financial pressure. And this pressure arises from situations where you're worried about money and it keeps you stressed out. You've overextended yourself, or maybe you lost your job, or maybe, something unexpected, medical bills, all that stuff comes up. You have got to understand that you will always have debt. I don't care about all these people that holler about they debt free. You paying for something. I don't believe you're not paying for something. I'm going to need you to show me that you're not paying for water. You're not paying for lights. You're not paying for gas. You're not paying for, show me that you're not paying for something. Nothing is free all the time, you guys. But we have to put finances in their proper perspective. And that's why we always have to pray about our decisions before we make big decisions with our money. We need to pray about it, and we need to pray about how we're spending our money. We're always struggling, living from paycheck to paycheck. We need some discipline. Something is going wrong with us. Something we're doing. We may need to downsize. That pride will keep you in a house and in a car that you can't afford. And the enemy loves to see you struggle. You have to make up your mind that I would rather downsize. I would rather give this up and be free from the pressure of worrying about money all the time. But that's something that you and God got to work out. But you got to get tired of being sick and tired. When I got tired of being sick and tired, when I got divorced and all of that stuff was left on me, I made up my mind. I didn't buy food. outside of what was at the house. I made my lunch every day. I was working 2 jobs. I paid off one bill, the highest bill, and I worked on that, and I paid a little bit on the others. When I got that highest down, I went to the next high. My focus was I was tired of laying in bed worrying about how I was going to do this, how I was going to do that. You have to get sick and tired, and then you'll change. So we need to put money in its proper place and realize that spending money normally only makes you want more things. Stuff doesn't make you happy. You're always going to want something else. So you need to figure out what it is inside of you that's making you unhappy, and get happy on the inside, and stop expecting material things to do that for you, and stop expecting other people to make you happy. And God had to reveal that to me, that nobody can make you happy but you. And once I finally got that, and I received that in my spirit, you know what? I'm like, God, you are absolutely right. Nothing and no one has ever really, truly made me happy. But when I started focusing on myself, getting my relationship right with God, spending my time in my worship, and just feeling that thing with God, and just recognizing who He said I was, and who He said I could be, and what I could do with my life if I chose to, and that there was no limits on my life, then I became happy. Even when the situation didn't change, y'all, I was happy on the inside. I'm happy with older cars that I drive. I'm happy in the house that I live in. I'm happy simply because I know where I came from. And I know when I used to sleep with a wet pillow because I cried all night, my pillow is dry. And so I get happy just thinking about those things, that I don't have to go through mental abuse or physical abuse anymore, that I have peace in my own home. Those are the things God wants you to focus on, not material things, not trying to buy more to try to make yourself look better or feel better. And then there's also something called business pressure. When you're working in business and finance and things of that nature, or you own your own business, you got to worry about a budget. You got to worry about incentives to keep your employees there so they don't go and get another job that pays them more. You have to be concerned about the loss of employment. Sometimes companies lose money and they got to lay people off. The loss of the finances to run the business, the gap that comes between profit and loss. Those are those business pressures. Even trying to start a business, just all the stuff that you have to do and all the hoops you have to jump through and permits and this, that, and the other. That's a lot of pressure. And so we need to find a way to balance our lives. It's great to be motivated. Pressure can do that for you. It's a great motivator, but too much pressure is never going to be good for anybody. And it takes practice and courage to stand up to pressure. We have to handle pressure. We need to relieve pressure, and we also need to embrace pressure. So let's talk about how we can handle, life's pressures a little bit better. Number 1, be confident with your no thank you or that's not for me. Don't let people try to talk you into something. If they don't hear you the first time, get a little louder. No thank you. I'm sorry. That is not for me. Thank you though. I appreciate you. And be willing to walk away. Let your yes be yes and your no be no. Do not backpedal to try to please other people. If you are not feeling it, don't do it. Tell them no, thank you. You don't have to be ugly, but if they act like they can't hear, go up a little bit higher and no, thank you. I appreciate it. All right. Okay, I will talk to you later. You don't have to explain yourself. You don't have to explain it. If it's not for you, then say no. And don't be afraid of what somebody else thinks about it. Number 2, move away from the situation that's pressuring you. Sometimes what's pressuring us, you guys, is not even physical. Sometimes it's mental or spiritual pressure that's going on. Things like anger, unresolved anger, bitterness that we're carrying around, unforgiveness. That puts unnecessary wear and tear on your body and on your mind. And the thing that those three things have in common is it binds you. It binds you to something that happened in your past. You're not bitter or angry about something that's happening in the future. You're upset about something that happened in your past that you won't let go of. You're making a choice to hold on to it. Therefore, you are kept in bondage by your own choice. You are choosing to hold on to those things. That's why I did that segment about letting go and about unforgiveness, because you are willingly handcuffing yourself and you are going in the jail and you are closing the door because you are refusing to let go and let God. You have to let go of people. You have to let go of things they did, things they said, ways they treated you. If you want to be truly free in this world, if you want to be free in your mind, free in your body, and free in your spirit, let people go that hurt you. Even if they never apologize, let them go. Forget what they said. Stop talking about it. Stop reliving it. Stop bringing it back up every time I see you. Let people go and move on with your life so you can be happy. So sometimes you're the problem. You're the reason why you can't move away from the situation because you don't want to. But if you want to get rid of that pressure, if you're tired of feeling sick and tired, if you're tired of feeling weighted down from the pressure of trying to remember what everybody did to you, and I can't trust this person, and they're not going to do me like that anymore, you are going to have to make the decision to let go. The key to the door, to the jail cell, the key is forgiveness and letting it go. But you have the key, but you got to use it. And then number 3, another way that we can handle the pressures of life is to, change the subject, laugh about it, crack a joke. Sometimes when things are getting real intense and real serious, somebody has to be smart enough to say, okay, this is getting out of hand. Let's kind of lighten the atmosphere. Sometimes you got to crack a joke or make somebody laugh, and then you got to come back to whatever the conversation was. Come back to it later when everybody's cooled down, when everybody's emotions are not all involved, when everybody's not, ready to be on the defense. Sometimes you just have to laugh and say, you know what? We'll worry about this later. Girl, let's go to a movie. Or come on, let's go get some drinks. Or come on, let's go to dinner. You just have to know when a situation is getting out of control. And sometimes you just have to not take it so seriously. And you just got to laugh about things and say, you know what? We're a hot mess. I don't even know why we're friends. We can't hardly get along, and just make a joke out of it. And say, let's just not even talk about it anymore. We'll talk about it later. But you've got to be mature enough to be able to do that. And it requires you to not always having to have the last word. Some of us, we always have to have the last word. We got to have the final say. That's why we keep arguments going. But a lot of times that thing snowballs and gets bigger and bigger. And before you know it, you be done said something or done something that you could have prevented if you'd have just laughed it off and just walked away. Another way to handle life's pressure is to be direct and say when you don't appreciate that person is making you feel pressure. Let people know, hey, you putting too much pressure on me. Hold up. You making me uncomfortable. Hold up. You worrying me. Don't be afraid to protect your peace, to protect your space. You have a right to let people know that they putting that negative energy towards you, and you don't have to take it. Let them know, like, I don't want none of that bad juju. Don't come over here with your attitude. As I'm getting older, I'm 55, finna be 56. I'll tell you in a minute, oh no, you take that back over there. Because, no, I'm good over here. I'm positive over here. Don't bring that over here. I didn't do nothing to you. I didn't wake up next to you last night. Don't you bring that over here. You have to speak up for yourself because you deserve to be happy. You deserve to be loved. You deserve to walk in an atmosphere of peace. And you deserve to be unbothered. Sometimes the enemy will send a distraction to you and they full of problems and they bothered as all get out. And then they see that you walking in the light and you're happy, you're enjoying your life, and they want to come and bother you. You need to recognize that and say, baby, no, not today. I got to go. And don't feel bad about it, you guys. We tolerate so much from people. And we teach people how to treat us, because if you tolerate that mess, guess what? That's what they gonna keep bringing you, is more mess and more mess and more mess. You have to set the standard of how you want to be treated and how you want to be addressed and how you want to flow, and that you only want positivity around you. All them negative naysayers, they won't even bother you no more. But that's okay. Sometimes you need to kind of weed out your circle anyway, and kind of clean the closet anyway. Because a lot of them people around you just can't wait until you mess up. They can't wait to call and tell somebody, oh, girl, did you see her? Oh, she was a mess, blah, blah. Sometimes God lets you weed people out. He lets you see what you need to see so you can put some distance between you and them. And then don't bow down to people that try to bully you. When you tell them that, hey, I'm feeling like you pressuring me. That's right, Kim. And until you fall. That's right. That you pressuring me and they still won't back off or respect your feelings. Don't bow down to them. You don't owe them a thing. Let them know, I see you're not listening, so I'm going to keep it moving. I'll holler at you later. Don't be afraid to get away from people that don't respect you and don't respect the boundaries that you put in place. Those boundaries are there to protect you and to preserve your peace. And you've come way too far to not have some boundaries set up so that you don't go back to a place that you had to fight so hard to get out of. So don't back down to the bullies. Be willing to let people keep it moving and walk on out of your life if they don't respect you and they don't respect your boundaries. That'll keep that pressure off of you to do things just to make other people happy. And you have to know, when it comes to bullies, they always come to take. Anytime somebody's bullying you, it's because they want something from you. They're not trying to give you anything, and they don't leave you with nothing. So you don't owe them a thing. When it don't feel right and it's like, hey, this is upsetting my spirit and this just something about this don't seem right, listen to that Holy Spirit that's trying to tell you, leave that person alone, get away from that situation. Pay attention. You don't have to fall in and follow behind people just to keep them from getting upset. Number 5, another way to handle pressure is to get support and talk to somebody that you actually can trust. I talked to you guys before about trust. We trust people too easily, and that's how we get hurt, because you have to make people earn your trust. A lot of times people will come running into your circle. They want to know everything about you. Give people a little bit at a time and see how they handle what you give them. See if they can keep things that you talk about between you and them. See if they keep it between you and them, or does it get around and other people are bringing back to you a conversation that should have been kept between two people. Test people out. Don't give people everything about you. But if you've got some good people around you that truly believe in you and only want what's best for you, those are the people you want to talk to when you're feeling pressure. It just relieves pressure just to get it off your chest, just to say it to somebody, to say how you feel to somebody. You just instantly feel better when you can say things in a safe environment where you won't be judged or people tell you you're overreacting or you being silly, for letting that bother you. When people truly love you, they listen. They listen because they want to hear you. They want to understand you. And when you've got some people like that in your life, that's your support group. And sometimes you even have to go outside of that and get some professional help just so you can have somebody to talk to and just get those things off your chest. Number 6, another way to handle stress and pressure is remember that no matter how much pressure you feel, you always have the option to say no. You have free will. Nobody has control over you. You can always say no. If that is your final answer, stand on it, stand flat foot on it, and don't worry about whether anybody else thinks about it. You have a right to say no to anything that's pressuring you. Number 7, make sure your words and your walk line up. Because sometimes we give people, false, perceptions of us just because, we faking and shaking. Be yourself. If you will just be yourself and hold your head up and walk with confidence, you're less likely to be pressured by people, because people try to pressure people that they see as weak, that they see as somebody they can manipulate or somebody that they can control. That's right. Root yourself. That's right, Kim. So you need to make sure that you are who you say you are and own that and walk with confidence and let people know you're not going to come at me any kind of way. You're not going to deal with me any kind of way. I'm a sweet person, but come correct. But when your words and your walk line up, they won't even try you. I'm telling you, they looking for people that are weak. They looking for people that they can manipulate. They looking for people that want to be accepted. But when you accept yourself, when you love yourself, people can't manipulate you. People can't come up to you and try to put pressure on you. I told somebody this week, a lady at work, and I had her laughing. I said, the older I get, the more this Taurus, the bull, wakes up in me, because I used to be one of those people that was a people pleaser, and people always bullied me and always pressured me into doing things. I said, the bull has woken up, and I understand now why I'm the way that I am, because it took time for me to get up and learn how to stand up for myself. It took time for me to not care what other people think about me or if they get upset with me because I say no. You have to understand, God didn't make you to be cookie cutter. He made you to be an individual, and you have to embrace your individuality. And see, I'm finally embracing mine. So that means that I'm not always going to want to do what you want to do. I'm not always going to think the way you think. I'm not always going to like what you like. But you're going to have to respect that, because I'm not you and you're not me. And we couldn't be either one of those things. So you need to love yourself enough to be you. You don't have to be anybody else. You're good enough. No matter what anybody else thinks, you're good enough just like you are. 8, say no to anything that you don't feel has a purpose. If you feel like this is going to waste your time, say no to it. We got stuff to do. And time ain't waiting on nobody. Stop wasting your time with frivolous stuff, listening to frivolous conversations, engaging in things that don't amount to nothing, you guys. If it doesn't have a purpose, you don't feel a purpose in it, say no to it. Let somebody else do all that silly stuff. Anything that disturbs your peace or your spirit, say no to it. Say no to it. We through with trying to make everybody else happy. We through with trying to go along to get along. We through with trying to make people happy because they're not happy on the inside. That's not your job. That's not your assignment. If people aren't happy, that's not your problem. All you can do is be a support for them a little bit, but don't let them pull you in, because misery loves company, you guys. So you be careful about these unhappy people on the inside. Some of them like where they're at. So you be careful about how much time you spend with them, because they've got to get that for themselves. You had to get it for yourself. They got to get it for themselves too. All you can do is let them know that I'm praying for you. I'm here for you. I'm rooting for you because I believe you're going to be happy, but you got to want it. You got to get the joy back yourself. And the Bible even talks about, the enemy comes to kill, steal, and destroy. Yeah, if you let him, you got to go back into the enemy's camp and snatch what he's taken from you. I had to go back and get what he took from me. You got to go and get what he took from you. It's personal. It's personal. I can't go get your stuff. You can't go get mine. You and God got to go into the enemy's camp, get back what he took from you, that joy that he took from you. You got to go and get that back. And it's a process, and it's going to require you spending time with God to get it back. But everybody's got to do it for themselves. And say no to things that cause negative effects on your money. You work too hard for your money to say yes to something that depletes what you worked hard for. Stop saying yes to things that have a negative effect on your money. I work too hard to play around with my money. I'm not going to waste my money on things that's not going to benefit me. And then say no to anything that causes you to bend past where you're comfortable. If you're uncomfortable with doing something, don't just keep doing it. Who are you doing it for? You have to know that uncomfortable feeling is God trying to warn you. God is trying to show you, hey, wait a minute, you're doing too much. When you start getting uncomfortable with it, you need to know your own limits. And you need to respect your own boundaries if you want somebody else to respect them. Okay? Now let's talk about how we can relieve pressure. Number one, an effective way to help yourself through a stressful time is to become more aware of how you feel and why you feel the way that you feel. And sometimes you need to write those things down. Write your feelings down and write how things make you feel. And then try to get an understanding as to where that's coming from. Some of those things go all the way back to your childhood. There were so many things that used to bother me, that used to hurt me, that used to keep me crying. And I realized a lot of them had a root in my childhood. It was things that happened to me. And that root was placed when I was 2 and 3 years old. And so you have to do the work. And a lot of times just writing it down, just calling it what it is and say, God, why is this bothering me the way that where did this come from? And call it what it is. As ugly as it is, call it what it is, and God will help you through it. Number 2, another way to relieve pressure is to talk it out with your close friends, like I said before, but make sure it's somebody that you can trust. Number 3, talk to a professional. Said that before. Number 4, work towards engaging in activities that give you a healthy emotional lift. There's nothing like getting involved with exercise, joining a group, that's doing something good in the community, doing something, at PATH or at the food bank, those type of things. Those things will help relieve pressure, because when you see other people who are suffering and other people, that are happy with a little bit and you're miserable with all that you got, that'll help you put things in perspective. And it'll also help you have a sense of joy and accomplishment because you're doing something for somebody else. Number 5, move on. Simply move on. If it's not beneficial for you anymore, don't be afraid to let go. Let go of people, let go of things, let go of places. Let it go if it's no longer beneficial for you. And keep it moving. God got something better for you. Number 6, take a break. Take a break from whatever or whoever is stressing you. Sometimes it's your family, sometimes your children, sometimes your man, sometimes your woman, whatever. Sometimes people that you love or people that's supposed to love you can be a huge source of stress. You got to take a break from them people sometimes. You got to look out for you sometimes. Yes, ma'am. You got to look out for you. And whatever in your life that's causing you stress, you need to sit down and evaluate, is this even worth the sleepless nights? Is this even worth the headaches that I've been getting? Is this worth, all the time I'm spending on this when I could be doing something else? Take a break from whatever or whoever is stressing you. Number 7, take care of yourself. I will always stress self-care because I neglected myself for so long. And then when I started paying attention to myself, I realized I didn't even know who I was. I didn't know what I liked. I didn't know what I didn't like. I didn't know, what my passion was. It was so much stuff that I did not even know about myself. And it was sad because I was too busy living to try to make other people happy. I knew everything about them. I knew how to make them happy. I knew their favorite color. I knew their favorite food. I knew what to get them for Christmas. I knew what to get them for their birthday. But when it came to doing something for me, I didn't even know what I wanted. I didn't know what I liked. It's so much I didn't know about myself. And it was really sad because I was the person that always gave. And I did that all the way up, probably until I was 45, almost 50. Hey, Rashida, I was always giving and I was taking less. I was taking whatever was given to me. I was taking crumbs that were given to me until God had to show me, if you don't do something different, you're going to completely lose yourself. And so I had to take time to myself. I pulled back from everybody else. I stopped trying to be in romantic relationships. And I literally spent some time by myself, learning how to love myself. It comes a time when you do that, especially when you've gone through a divorce, because there's nothing meaner and more hurtful than a divorce, especially if, let me put it like this, it don't bother some people, but if your intention was for that to be your forever relationship, and when that thing falls apart for whatever reason, it does something it takes something from you. It takes a part of yourself from you. It starts making you look at yourself differently. And so therefore, I'll tell anybody, if you have gotten divorced or out of a long relationship, take some time for yourself and learn who you are, what you like, what you want, and what you don't want. Because if you don't do that, you take that same mess, you take that same, mentality, and that same perspective into a new relationship, and then it doesn't work because nothing changed about you, not anything for the good. You have to take time to rebuild yourself, because things like that break you down, take things from you. Those things have to be rebuilt, and you have to allow God to have his time with you so that he can build you back up again before you start becoming a part of somebody else's life. Because when you're broken and you go into a relationship with somebody else, you tear them down because you came half empty. And that's one thing I pray to God all the time. I say, God, build me up so that when I do go into my next relationship, I want to go in whole. I want to go in bringing something to the table. I want to go in with a fresh perspective. I want to go in with good communication skills and with the optimism that you're supposed to have when you're in a relationship. So a lot of things has to be cleaned off of you before you can do that. And that requires time. Jumping from relationship to relationship doesn't do anything but make you keep jumping from relationship to relationship. Trust me, I know. So you have to stop somewhere and say, you know what? Enough is enough. I'm breaking this cycle. I want something better. And that's what I had to do for me. And I have no regrets because I now know how to take care of me. I know what I like. And I have a high regard for taking care of myself, because I know if I take care of me, I can take care of everybody else. If I take care of me, then I can come to you guys in the right way, with the right attitude, with something positive. When you don't take care of yourself, everything goes wrong. So take care of yourself. Number 8, another way to relieve stress, like I said before, connect with your community, religious organizations, do some things for other people. Yeah, do some things for other people. Get involved in something besides you and besides thinking about what didn't work out for you or what hurt you or, how you thought you would be further along by now. You thought you'd be married by now. Get involved in something bigger than you. And that way you'll have a sense of purpose for your life. Number 9, avoid compensating or comforting yourself with things like drugs, alcohol, or even casual sex. Sometimes we think, hey, we'll just have this booty call. I'll call it what it is, and I'm going to feel better. 9 times out of 10, it don't last long. Temporary pleasure is all it is. That's not going to fix what's bothering you. All that is a distraction. All the alcohol is a distraction. The drugs are a distraction. Because when you come down from your high, all those things that were bothering you are still going to be there. So why try to substitute it with stuff that's temporary? Try to fix the problem. Number 10, another way to relieve stress is prayer and meditation. It's very hard to be stressed and worship God at the same time. I've never seen anybody do it. Because you go to a whole nother realm when you worship God. You go to a whole another realm when you just sit and meditate and you think about the goodness of God and you listen to nature and you understand that you are a body, a soul, and a spirit. When you come into one with that and understanding that, all that other stuff got to get out of the way. It don't exist together. Worrying and worship, it don't exist together. So you have to understand that's an excellent way to relieve some stress. Get you some time away and spend some time with God, because he's wanting that time with you. And you can think a whole lot clearer when you've set that time aside and then you talk to God about it. You tend to think clearer and you tend to make better decisions. Number 11, recognize when you're getting overwhelmed. And love yourself enough to delegate things to others. Sometimes we are so greedy. Some of us are glory hogs. We want all the attention on us. So therefore we let ourselves get overwhelmed when we could delegate some things because we want to get all the credit. That's on us, you guys. God didn't put us here for men to pat us on the back, to recognize. You do things for the right reason. You don't mind saying, you know what, honey, this is too much. Do you mind helping me with this? Do you mind? Even if they never mention your name or put your name out front, you ought to do it for the right reason. And therefore you won't get overwhelmed because you don't mind asking for help when you need it, because you're not trying to get all the glory for yourself. So recognize when you're overwhelmed and love yourself enough to delegate to other people. That's even in your household. When you're the head of your household or maybe you're a stay-at-home mom, whatever. When everybody puts everything on you, you got to be woman enough to stand up and say, you know what, hold up. I'm not the only one here. We need to divide this stuff up. Y'all are putting too much on me. You need to speak up for yourself, because you got to love yourself to say, it's enough of us to get this done and it won't be hard on anybody. But you're going to have to love yourself. Number 12, stand up to what's bullying you. And like I said before, the enemy's job is to try to break you by any means necessary. And his favorite tool is to remind you of what happened in your past and remind you of how you failed in your past. And he does that simply because his goal is to keep you, number 1, in bondage. Number 2, he wants to keep you broken. And number 3, he wants to keep you under his feet. And if he can keep all of that stuff on your mind, what you did wrong, who did you wrong, how it went wrong, if that's what you focus on, you're under his feet. He's got total control over you. You'll never be happy. You'll never be able to move forward. And you'll always be in bondage. You got to recognize the tricks of the enemy. When your mind is focused on negativity all the time, know that that's not from God. That stuff is not from God. Recognize it, and you make up your mind to change your mind to something better. So how do we embrace pressure? That's the next thing we got to figure out. Because pressure is not always bad. Johnny said that earlier. Pressure is not always bad. Sometimes pressure and the breaking is good for you. Number one, recognize that all challenges and all pressures don't come to hurt you. It's not always about breaking you. Sometimes it's God applying the pressure. He needs to change something in you that you won't change on your own. So he have to put some pressure on you. He have to let some things go wrong. He have to let some things, kind of back you up in a corner. Because sometimes we get so prideful. We get so comfortable with doing things our own way. And God has a better way, but you won't listen. And so sometimes he have to let that pressure build up on you, and so that he can get you to a point where you're humble, so that he can build you up the way you need to be. Number two, and he wants to change us sometimes. Recognize that change is necessary if you want more or if you want better. You don't get more or better by staying the same. One thing we talked about before is if you want better, you got to do better. If you want things to change, you got to stop doing the same old stuff, expecting different results. You got to change what you do if you want something different. And then nothing happens without change. You got to ask yourself, what am I willing to change in my life? If I'm sick of my life and I'm sick of what I'm going through and I'm tired of the pressure that I'm dealing with, what are you willing to change? What are you willing to change? Number one, are you willing to change your perspective? That means how important is whatever's pressuring you to you? Why do you let that be so important to you? If it's causing you that much pressure, you got headaches, blood pressure going up, you stress, you can't sleep, change your perspective. Maybe you don't need what you thought you needed. Maybe that is not for you. Maybe that's God saying, hey, leave that alone. So sometimes you need to change your perspective, or either maybe you need to say, you know what, God, the reason that you're allowing this pressure is because you know I can handle it, or because you're trying to make me better. So that's a change of perspective. And then you learn to embrace it and say, bring it on. Hey, last time y'all brought that, I was able to do it. Bring on. I'm ready for the next thing. That's changing your perspective. And then are you willing to sacrifice to make it happen? That's another part of your perspective. What are you willing to sacrifice? Number two, are you willing to change your location? If where you are is not working for you, how important is it for your life to be better? Sometimes it's going to require you to change your location. Are you willing to make that change? Number three, are you willing to change your expectation? Sometimes we get our hopes in people. We put our hope in people. We've all done it. And then when they don't turn out the way we want them to be, or if they do something, that hurts our feelings, or they betray us, then it throws us off. But you may need to change your perspective and recognize that everybody's human. We're all going to make mistakes. Never put anybody up on a pedestal, because any of us could fall. Any of us could make a mistake. Any of us, could betray your trust. People are people. So you need to change your expectation and put your hope in God instead of in people. Number four, change your method. Are you willing to change what you're doing? If what you're doing ain't working for you, are you willing to change what you're doing? Are you willing to let your spirit man lead more than your carnal man? Are you willing to trust in God? Are you willing to? Those are the things you have to ask yourself, and ask yourself, what are you willing to change? Number five, are you willing to change your circle? Sometimes the people around you are not good for you. Sometimes the people around you like to keep you right where you are, and there's no room for growth. Sometimes you outgrow people. It's not that you don't love them, but sometimes walking around in the same circle gets old, you guys. Sometimes you got to venture out and say, you know what? I'm gonna see if I can connect with this guy or connect with this lady because she's really doing things and she's going the direction I want to go. You have to be willing to change your circle sometimes, and without worrying about what anybody in the circle thinks about it. They got their own path they got to walk. You got your own path you got to walk. Don't stay stagnant because you don't want them saying, oh, look at her. She thinks she too good. Oh, look at her. Oh, we're not good enough anymore. Whatever, boo. I'm trying to be the best me I can be. And sometimes I got to move around. Number 6, change your focus. Put your focus on the good things. Remind yourself of how far you've come. And put your focus on the good people in your life. While we all have shysty people that have done things and betrayed us, we know who we can't trust in our circle. Focus on the good things, the good people that you have. Put more of your focus on that. Number 7, change your attitude. Some of us just have stank attitudes. We feel like because we've been through something and, y'all don't know what I've been through. That's in the past. Like I said before, you're in bondage if you're still bringing up what you've been through in the past as an excuse for your nasty attitude. No, you're in bondage. You're in jail. So that's why your attitude is like it is. You need to get yourself free and you need to change your attitude because nobody likes to be around somebody that's arrogant. Nobody likes to be around somebody that's overly sensitive with a chip on their shoulder, can't forgive nobody, judgmental. Nobody wants to be around you, boo. Get your attitude right. Go to God. Figure out why you nasty, why you keep running people away, why nobody likes you. Because it's something that you're doing. It's something that you're doing. You have got to change your attitude. And if you'll just switch over to being grateful and switch over to talking about positive things, it'll fix your attitude. But you got to want to change. Some people say, well, this is just how I am. People got to accept it. No, they don't. People don't have to accept anything from you because we always have a choice to get away from you. And that's what I've learned to do. People with nasty attitudes, people that are arrogant, people with smart mouths and judgmental. I just won't spend no time with you. I don't have to tolerate you. You keep being just what you want. If that's who you are, but I don't have to tolerate it. You don't have to be around that. And people don't have to be around you. So if you want to be the kind of person that draws people to you, that people love to be around, change your attitude. You have control over that. Number 8, change how you respond. You don't have to respond to everything. Stop responding to everything. Everything is not on your level. Some things are beneath you that you're responding to. And then you just keep lowering yourself lower and lower because you're responding to things that you ought to soar above because you're better than that. You've been through enough stuff. You've gotten over that hurdle. You said you don't want to be like that anymore. Stop responding to stuff that's not on your level. Everything is not your problem to fix, and everything is not your battle to fight. Give that stuff over to God. Like I said before, just because this person has issues and they're not happy, that is not your problem. All you can do is be support and you give that thing over to God. That's not your battle to fight. That's their battle because there's something within them that's fighting against them. That's between them and God. We have to start changing how we respond to things. Don't always be so quick. And I'm learning to not move quickly. And I thank God every day. He gave me that one morning, y'all, and he said, slow down, pay attention. And it's God, when I stop and slow down and pay attention to people's attitude and people's just how they move and their behavior and watch how they sneak and do things, it has saved me so much heartache. Saved me so much pain because I am so selective about who I allow in my personal space. because I pay attention now. I move slower now when it comes to getting close to people. And it took God showing me this is where you've been messing up, because you give everybody a clean slate. You think everybody is like you and has your heart, and they don't. People have gone through stuff that have made them bitter and angry and miserable, and some people like being like that. And so you can't give everybody a clean slate. Make people earn their position in your life. Open your eyes. People need to earn a position in your life. They need to earn a position in my life, because you've gone through too much. You crawled through too much fire to get on this side just to hop into another fire pan. You don't want to hop into another fire pit, because you have to learn from what you've already gone through. And that's where that wisdom comes in. That's when that listening to that small voice inside of you that says something ain't right with that person. Number 9, learn to be grateful for everything. And just understand, even the bad has a purpose. God doesn't allow things to happen in your life without there being a reason for it. It may take years for you to figure it out. It may, take somebody else revealing it to you, but eventually you will see it, and it will bring you to tears, because you'll say, you know what? Now I know why I had to go through that. God showed me so many times, just things I've talked to you guys about. Everything I talk to y'all about, I get challenged on it. Even with this right here, I've been challenged on that this week. And I said, God, ooh, it was rough, but you know what? I made it through. And even walking by faith, I can't tell y'all how many people this week have asked me to pray for them. And I'm just like, wow, what is it that they're seeing? Because it's not like I'm walking around thumping a Bible, putting it in their face. But I've had so many people say, will you pray for me? And it's a beautiful thing, because that means that they feel like they can trust you. They can trust you to do that. I look at it as a trust thing. When people ask me, will you pray for me? I believe that they truly believe by asking me, I'm going to do it. And I'm very grateful for that, because everybody's not trustworthy. And I love that people will trust me with that. And I make a point of going to my book and writing people's names down in my prayer book. I keep one at work. And I go and I immediately write their name down, because I don't want to forget to pray for them. So we need to learn to be grateful, you guys. And this is how we handle stress. We have to learn how to embrace stress. We have to learn how to relieve stress. And we also have to learn how to handle stress, you guys. Because pressure's coming, but it's up to us to decide how much of it affects our lives. And you guys, my final thought is, while pressure is necessary to motivate us and to keep us on our toes, and it's even there to keep us moving forward. But too much pressure for any extended period of time has a potential to break you. So how we handle the pressure definitely matters. So sis, don't crack under the pressure. You guys, let's say a quick prayer. Father God, I thank you. I thank you for everybody that's on this podcast, and I thank you for those that are going to watch it later. And God, just help us to understand that the pressure has a purpose, and that we have to be in tune with ourselves so that we can recognize when we're doing too much, when enough is enough, when we need to speak up and say, this is bothering me, or this is worrying me. I need some help with this. Don't let our pride stand in the way. Don't let our pride be that thing that causes us to bear all this pressure and then crack later and then have to start from the bottom and come all the way back up. God, give us the discernment to know that, you are always with us. You are always there to guide us and to help us. But we have to be willing to seek you, Father God, and we have to be willing to handle the pressure of life in the proper way. And God, we thank you as we come upon this Easter Sunday. We honor you and we thank you for your sacrifice, Father God. And God, we just continue to give you the glory, the honor, and the praise. In Jesus' name, amen. Love you guys. Y'all have a wonderful Easter. And thank you so much for watching. And I look forward to seeing y'all next week. Have a wonderful Easter. Love you guys. And I hope to see you soon. Talk to you later. God bless. Bye.